They thought they understood pain. They thought they had seen loss. But The Chosen Season 5 is about to show a kind of heartbreak that doesn't fade when the credits roll. It lingers. It stays in your chest like a weight that refuses to lift. This isn't just another season. It's the storm before the sacrifice, the calm before the cross. Every smile hides fear. Every miracle carries a shadow. And when it all unfolds, you won't just watch it. You'll feel it deeply. The story begins in silence. The air feels heavy, as if everyone knows something is coming, but no one can say it out loud. The disciples walk beside Jesus, but their hearts are uneasy. They've seen miracles that defy reason, and yet doubt keeps knocking at their doors. Every step closer to Jerusalem feels like a step toward destiny and toward pain. There's a stillness to this season, a sense that something sacred is about to break. Jesus smiles, but behind that smile is a quiet sadness, the kind of sorrow only someone who knows the end can carry. The disciples don't notice it at first. They're too focused on their questions, their fears, their need to understand. But the audience can feel it. We know. We sense the coming heartbreak in every look, every pause, every unspoken word. The world around them is shifting. Crowds grow larger. The whispers of rebellion spread faster. The leaders of the time see Jesus not as a teacher, but as a threat. And through it all, he keeps walking. Calm, gentle, but with a purpose that burns brighter than fear. In Season 5, every moment feels heavier than the last. There's less laughter now, more silence, more reflection. The disciples begin to see that following Jesus isn't just about faith, it's about surrender. And surrender always hurts. There's a scene early in the season that captures this perfectly. When Peter looks at Jesus and realizes, maybe for the first time, that this journey isn't leading to glory, but to sacrifice. The music softens, the wind slows, and for a second, time seems to stop. That's when it hits the realization that love and pain are sometimes the same thing. This is what makes The Chosen so powerful. It doesn't tell a story from a distance. It invites us into the ache, the confusion, the beauty of what it means to believe even when the ending looks hopeless. And that's why Season 5 will make you cry, not because it's sad, but because it's real. The story didn't begin with power, it began with people. Fishermen, outcasts, tax collectors, and broken souls who found hope in a man who saw more in them than the world ever did. That's where The Chosen first captured our hearts, not with spectacle, but with truth. By the time we reached Season 4, everything had changed. The disciples had witnessed the impossible. Blind eyes opened, storms silenced, hearts restored. Yet beneath every miracle, something darker was growing. Tension, fear, the whisper that love might not be enough to stop what's coming. We watched Peter, once bold and fearless, start to crumble under the weight of doubt. We saw Mary Magdalene's quiet strength, holding faith together when others lost theirs. We saw Matthew searching for belonging, still haunted by his past. Every one of them walked beside Jesus. But not all understood the road he was leading them on. Season 4 ended not with victory, but with silence, the kind of silence that feels louder than any cry. The air was thick with questions. Why are the powerful afraid of him? Why are the crowds turning restless? Why does his voice sound softer now, more distant, like a farewell wrapped in every word? That's where Season 5 begins, right in that silence, the kind that hurts to listen to. It's a season that doesn't need grand battles or explosions. Its weapon is emotion. Its war is fought in hearts. Jerusalem looms ahead, beautiful and dangerous. The disciples can feel it in their bones. Something sacred is unraveling. They don't know what the end looks like, but the closer they get, the heavier the air feels. Every road, every parable, every healed wound points toward one truth. Love will soon be tested in fire, and that's what makes this story so human. We've all walked roads that led us somewhere we didn't want to go. We've all loved people we couldn't keep. The Chosen reminds us that faith isn't about understanding everything. It's about walking forward anyway. Season 5 isn't just a continuation. It's the calm before the heartbreak. The moment before the curtain falls, and the deeper you go, the more you realize this isn't just their story. It's ours too. There's a moment, somewhere between faith and fear, where silence becomes louder than words. The Chosen Season 5 lives in that space. It doesn't rush. It breathes. It lets you feel every heartbeat, every tear, every pause that says more than 100 sermons ever could. This season isn't just about miracles anymore. It's about the cost of them. Every act of kindness, every word of love, seems to echo with something bittersweet, as if heaven is preparing to close its eyes before the storm. The disciples begin to change in quiet, heartbreaking ways. You can see it in the way they look at Jesus now, not just as their teacher, but as something they know they might lose. The laughter they once shared feels different. It's softer, slower, like they're trying to hold on to the moments before everything shatters. And then there's Jesus. He's still calm, still full of compassion, but there's something new in his eyes this time. A depth of sorrow mixed with peace. It's not weakness. It's understanding. The kind of understanding that comes from knowing the pain ahead and walking toward it anyway. In this season, faith doesn't look like certainty. It looks like trembling hands that still reach out. It looks like eyes filled with tears that still look upward. The emotional core of Season 5 is raw. It's about what it means to love when you know love will cost you everything. There's a scene quiet, almost unnoticeable, where Jesus watches the sunset alone. No words, just silence, wind, and light. And in that moment, you feel it. The ache of a man who loves too deeply, the weight of destiny pressing down, and yet, the grace to keep smiling through it. That's the heart of The Chosen, Season 5. It's not trying to make you cry. It's trying to make you remember. Remember what it feels like to hope, to lose, to forgive, to keep walking even when you don't know how the story ends, because that's what this season is. Not a story of endings, but of endurance. Not just sorrow, but the kind of love that grows stronger through sorrow. Every tear you shed isn't for pain, it's for beauty. The kind of beauty that reminds us why we believe in the first place. Every story has a breaking point. Season 5 is filled with them, quiet, painful moments where the strongest hearts begin to tremble. It's not the grand scenes that hurt the most. It's the small ones, the looks that last too long, the words left unspoken, the faith that starts to flicker in the dark. Let's start with Peter, the man who once walked on water, now drowning in his own doubts. He's always been the fire of the group, quick to act, quick to love, quick to fall. But this season, the fire feels dimmer. You can see the fear behind his eyes, the silent question burning inside him. What if I'm not strong enough this time? His loyalty is pure, but his heart is tired. Every time he looks at Jesus, there's love, and a shadow of guilt for the faith he's afraid to lose. Then there's Mary Magdalene, the heart of grace. Her story has always been about redemption, but now it's about peace. In Season 5, she carries calmness in a world that's starting to break apart. She holds others when they can't hold themselves, but even she feels it, the ache of what's coming. Her eyes, once full of joy, carry the quiet sadness of someone who's seen too much and yet chooses to believe anyway. Matthew, the outcast turned disciple, is perhaps the most human of them all this season. His struggle isn't with belief, it's with belonging. He knows he's forgiven, but he still battles the echoes of who he used to be. The other disciples may have accepted him, but deep inside, Matthew wonders if he truly belongs beside a Messiah. His story will break you softly, not because of what he loses, but because of how he learns to forgive himself. And then, Judas. The name alone carries weight. In Season 5, he's not yet the villain we expect. He's still a friend, still hopeful, still trying to understand. The tragedy isn't in what he does, it's in how much he wants to do right, and how icily that desire turns into ruin. Watching him this season is like watching a candle melt. Slow, beautiful, and painful. You want to save him, but you can't. No one can. Each character is breaking in their own way, But their breaking isn't destruction, it's transformation. Through every tear, every silence, and every goodbye, they're becoming something stronger, something eternal. And as the season moves forward, you realize something haunting. The pain they carry is the same pain we carry. The fear of losing what we love, the guilt of not being enough, the hope that somehow, even in the darkest night, light will return. That's what The Chosen does best. It doesn't just tell you a story, it invites you to feel it, to see yourself in the eyes of the broken, to understand that heartbreak in the hands of grace becomes something holy. Before a single word is spoken, you feel Season 5. The screen glows in gold and dust. A breeze moves through the olive trees. The sunlight bends softly around faces worn by time and faith. This isn't just cinematography, it's storytelling through light. Through silence, through the spaces between breaths, every frame feels painted, not filmed. The camera doesn't rush. It lingers on trembling hands, on tearful eyes, on footprints in dry earth that fade too fast. Even the stillness feels alive. You sense that every gust of wind, every flicker of firelight carries meaning. The creators of The Chosen don't just show us what happened, they make us feel what it must have felt like to be there. And then, it doesn't command attention, it seeps into your soul. The melodies aren't loud or showy. They rise like whispers from another world, built from strings, echoes, and voices that sound half human, half heaven. When pain enters the scene, the notes tremble. When hope flickers, the sound lifts. Sometimes the music stops altogether, and that silence becomes the loudest sound of all. In one haunting scene, the camera follows Jesus as he walks through a narrow street at sunset. The crowd is watching, waiting, whispering. The music is almost gone, just a hum beneath the tension. His robe brushes the dust, and the light behind him burns like the last breath of day. It's visual poetry, every second designed. To make your heart ache without a single word, the beauty of Season 5 lies in its restraint. It doesn't need spectacle to move you. The emotion isn't forced, it's earned. The lighting is softer now, the tones warmer but sadder, as if the world itself knows that darkness is near. The colors fade slowly from hope to heartbreak, mirroring the story's descent toward sacrifice. And yet within that beauty there's peace. Every shot seems to whisper that pain and love are not enemies. They're partners in something bigger. The world may look fragile, but it's held together by grace. The music reminds you of that. The visuals remind you of that. Even the silence reminds you of that. This is where The Chosen separates itself from every other series. It doesn't just show faith, it feels it. Every frame, every note, every pause is soaked in emotion. You don't watch it, you experience it. You sit in the quiet after a scene ends, and you realize your chest is heavy, your eyes are wet, and your heart is wide open. That's not just filmmaking. That's worship in motion. Some stories fade when the screen goes dark, but The Chosen Season 5 isn't one of them. This one stays. It lingers long after the final scene, like a memory that refuses to leave. Like a voice that keeps whispering, even when the world goes quiet. What makes this season unforgettable isn't just the story of Jesus, it's how deeply it mirrors our own. Every tear shed by the disciples feels like a reflection of our own struggles, our own moments of doubt, fear and faith that trembles on the edge of breaking. The magic of The Chosen isn't that it tells a story from 2,000 years ago. It's that it somehow tells ours, right here, right now. Season 5 dives into the heart of humanity. It reminds us that love doesn't always feel like light. Sometimes it feels like loss. That faith doesn't always come with answers. Sometimes it begins in silence. And that pain, the kind that shatters us, can also be the same pain that shapes us into who we're meant to be. You'll watch Peter cry and see yourself fighting to stay strong when you're breaking inside. You'll watch Mary forgive and feel your own scars start to soften. You'll hear Jesus speak words of peace, and they'll sound like they were meant for you. That's what makes this show more than just entertainment. It becomes a mirror. A reminder that faith isn't clean or easy. It's messy, raw, and breathtakingly human. The moments that hit hardest aren't the miracles, they're the pauses in between. The way Jesus looks at someone and sees everything they are, even the parts they hide. The way the disciples fall, fail, and still get up again. The way love, no matter how bruised, refuses to die. The Chosen doesn't preach. It doesn't push. It simply opens its hands and lets you feel something real. It asks you to remember that we're all walking through our own version of those dusty roads, uncertain. Imperfect, but never alone. By the time the season ends, you won't just remember the story, you'll remember how it made you feel. The ache, the hope, the strange peace that comes after the tears. That's what art does when it's born from truth. It doesn't need to shout. It simply whispers, "You're not forgotten," in that whisper. That's what makes The Chosen Season 5 unforgettable. When the last scene fades, you don't just finish watching The Chosen Season 5. You feel it living inside you. It's not the kind of story that ends. It's the kind that follows you into the quiet moments of your own life. You'll think about it when you're alone, when the night feels heavy, when faith feels far away. And somewhere in that silence, you'll hear the echo of every word, every tear, every heartbeat this season left behind. Because this isn't a story about ancient people or distant miracles. It's about us. About the fragile, messy, beautiful way we keep trying to love in a world that keeps breaking our hearts. It's about the courage to keep believing even when you can't see the light. And that's why this season will make you cry, not out of sadness, but out of recognition. Because deep down, you'll see yourself in them. There's a scene near the end. No music, no noise, just faces, lit by the fading sun. The camera moves slowly, like it's afraid to say goodbye. You see their eyes filled with both fear and faith. And in that stillness, you understand something powerful. Love is not about avoiding pain. It's about walking through it and choosing it anyway. That's the message The Chosen leaves behind. Love that endures. Faith that trembles but doesn't fall. Hope that survives the silence. As the credits roll, you're left with more than emotion. You're left with a choice. To live a little kinder. To forgive a little faster. To believe a little deeper. Because what The Chosen does better than any show is remind you that pain is not the end of the story. It's the part that makes the ending worth it. So when you cry during Season 5, let it happen. Let every tear carry something away. Let it remind you that even in heartbreak, there is holiness. That even in loss, there is love. And when the screen finally turns black, don't see it as an ending. See it as a whisper from the story itself. Keep walking. The light is still ahead.